Hello, welcome, Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day observed, because all these kids with Christmas presents and stuff have days off. And it's presidential inauguration, because I didn't get to watch my television shows this morning. That's pretty good. I've got Star Trek in the background because I've already did some stuff on WoW this morning and I need to take care of duty officer assignments. So you'll probably at silent times either hear the dishwasher or the thematic music from Star Trek Online. Sorry, I had a disaster one of my duty officer missions, and it's hilarious. Well, I'll read this out loud. You know, the duty officer assignment, which is just sort of a little tiny mission, is reintroduce additional volunteers into society. The description is, the ship's crew has impressed the director of Project Chrysalis, who would like your team to handle the reintroduction into society of one of the volunteers. Disaster is the assignment outcome. What happened? The volunteer suffered a psychotic break, injuring several of the medical support staff involved. It's weird. It's like, okay, so we're reintroducing, the person just like, they just like start punching people and something. Anyways, so enough of that. So last Monday I talked about a pizza from what I thought was a certain pizza joint, but it wound up being another one. It wound up being Round Table Pizza. So the other one. So I made this solemn swear that on Friday I was going to do it, but I always record during the day, and you guys probably watch it at night or morning, depending on when it uploads per your time zone. I'm looking at you, England. Anyways, so I got the pizza on Friday. Now, we're going to go over this because there's a lot involving that event. There is the reaction to the pizza and the act of getting the pizza, which was different little topics things. And I could bounce back and forth and have tangents, but let's see if I can try to rein in my thoughts here. So the pizza. I talked about it on Monday as it's 4 kinds of pepperoni. You know, and I used my projecting voice. If you want to go back, I'll put a little link to it right here, so you can go back and I'll try to link to the time that it happened, so you don't have to watch the entire thing. So, you know, it just, but back to the pizza, you know, and I apologize about using that sort of voice, but I got really excited. I got really emotional. So, yeah. However, I apologize for it, but this is apologizing for it of the fact that it happened, that I should not have let that voice come out. That voice is something that it's something to behold. So so we got the pizza. I only got a large. So, because they were all on special. It's just a pizza they have. It's not a special or anything. It was just a pizza they have. And I was like, okay, 4 kinds of pepperoni. This is awesome. And he shows it to me and I was like, that looks really good. Like, my pupils had grown teeth and were starting to eat its image. This is how good it looked. So, the pizza. I got it home, opened it up, unfurled it. Probably should have got some breadsticks. But, you know, hindsight, 2020, Barbara Walters, whatever, tangents. See how they can go. The pizza was absolutely amazing. I'm not necessarily a carnivore. I don't eat meat every single day, per se. I mean, I do, but I don't eat, like, meat as the main course. Like in my tacos, you saw, it's this little tiny meat, it's this little tiny thing of meat, and like lettuce and cheese and a tortilla. And I have pasta sides, which I gotta go to the store and get some, but that's neither here nor there. So this pizza, like, here, we've got the circle, and you've got this little bit here, you know, of crust, you know, and in this size, it's about a little under an inch thick of crust. In reality, the pizza was like, you know, this big. You know, it's a large pizza. You know, it's like a little over a foot in diameter. It was cut into 12 slices, but in this little example right here, we're looking at an inch. The rest of this, which is pretty much where my hand is at, this little circle around my hand, had, well, it had 4 kinds of pepperoni on it. That's why it's called the Pepperoni 4.0. It's also, now it was like pepperoni, 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 and then like the little tiny pepperonis. And it was so going from big to small, number 2, so the next one down is the one that went like whoosh and curled up and had like the little cooked edge and like the little puddle of grease in it, which it probably sounds disgusting, but I don't have a belly because I eat bird food. You know, if you saw, you know, I'm not necessarily the fittest, but I also don't shy away from succulent food. But anyways, I mean, even Aaron looked at it and went, man, this thing's greasy. Not in a bad thing. It was sort of like, man, this thing's greasy. So, if you happen to have a dietary needs criteria, dietary requirements criteria. Well, anyways, dietary criteria that allows you to eat a typical pizza. I know some people are like gluten-free, or you know, they can't, well, they're vegan and they just can't digest meat anymore, sort of thing. But if you eat normal food and you're willing to kind of splurge on the diet a little bit, and you have a round table pizza somewhere near you, get the pizza. And it's really filling. And it's sweet Jesus. Like Aaron and I had 6 slices each, because that, you know, cut it into 12, 2 people. And the stomach was saying stop. The mouth, the eyes, the nose from smelling it, the taste buds, the throat from experiencing the idea of swallowing it was like, give us more. The stomach's like, I can't hold anymore. And they're just like 6 on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever, we'll call it touch. So it's like 6 on 1, 6 to 1. But no, we didn't have any more pizza. And the brain's just like, we don't actually have any more. And the store is closed right now. So yeah, okay. Next a little bit about that. About the whole event. Because Friday was actually kind of a big day. Getting the pizza. Getting the pizza was at night, because I wanted it still hot, and they closed at 11. So it's like, I didn't realize they closed at 11. So we've got a bunch of, you know, so I was like, okay, so I gotta get it. I want to get it as best as possible. Like, I want it done cooking at the store probably about the time Aaron gets off work, which is 10. So if I leave here at 9:30 and I go get it, 15 minutes. So then I had the little text. I'm like, I may not actually be there on time, because it says 10 to 15 minutes, but they cooked it stupid fast, because you can definitely tell at 9:30 at night on a Friday, you'd expect maybe, but weather was pretty much turning that place into a dead zone. An Elmer Fudd there moment there. A Porky Pig moment there. It was dead. It was like one of the guys was sitting out in the dining room, and he was like leaning up against a chair, like half slopped over, and he was watching television. And the manager was the only person perky there because, well, from after dating someone who worked at a round table, you're either personally okay with where your life is at that point, or you're a manager if you're perky at Round Table Pizza, which my ex was. He was not a manager, but he'd worked there long enough, he knew the system, he was happy with where he was in life, and he was just do. So anyways, but you could tell they were pretty much mostly checked out. But I wound up getting my pizza and got it in the car. But that's pretty much how everything about it went down. There's not really getting the pizza. Well, I think they thought I might have been a mystery shopper because the manager was a little bit too enthusiastic. Like when he brought out and showed me the pizza and waited for my approval before he closed it up and was like, do you want any red pepper flakes or Parmesan? I'm like, oh no, we have a lot of that stuff at the house. He then threw some on top of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do that. Sweet. The drive there, because it's 35 blocks west, and 50? No, not 50. Maybe. We'll just say it's like 35 blocks north. I'm not actually sure because all the streets going north are like named, so I don't actually have like delineations. Anyways, so we've got all that happy jazz, and it's at least one of my friends, she has a channel here on YouTube and I watch her stuff, but she calls it zombie fog, and her fiance calls it zombie fog. My roommate and Aaron don't call it zombie fog, probably because they've listened to my rant enough. I still don't quite get the reference. Nobody's actually shown me a picture of zombies with fog. That's the thing. They call it zombie fog, and my old roommate called it zombie fog, but I've never seen the reference to zombies plus fog. Fog to me has always been ephemeral, and with swamps, and the idea of a mist, not zombies. Mist for like vampires and stuff, or ghosts, because the ghosts can manipulate the water vapor enough that they can actually create a form or something. It's always in the spiritual realm, and zombies aren't spiritual, except for the African tribes. Whatever, that's a different discussion. But from what they call it was zombie fog, and maybe other people understand what zombie fog means. I call it heavy fog, because it is heavy fog. I could barely see a block away. You know, like I could. I also have really good eyes at night. Anyways, so, yeah, I was initially scared driving home. In fact, I like heavy fog because it makes me drive slower. But I was doing the inclement weather because I live in the Pacific Northwest. I know how to drive in snow, in ice, in sleet, in, well, some of you call torrential downpour. I call it rain. I think any of you in England might have an idea what I mean by there are people that call torrential downpour. And we're like, it's rain. Get over it. Walk through it. I mean, I can drive in a lot of things. I've driven through, whatever, you know. Did I drive during that volcanic eruption? I wasn't driving during the earthquake. Anyways, so, but apparently other people don't know how to drive in inclement weather. But then there's just the national thing. Even over in New York, people are like, oh, I'm a really good driver, and then the snow hit, you know, and they're being a really good driver, but then the snow and ice hits and people are like, and I'm like, you have no idea how to drive in the snow, do you? You don't know how to drive in inclement weather. I do. Speed limit's 35, was 40, and I'm doing 32. 30, something like that. But anyways, so, yeah, we've got heavy fog. The car almost got hit. If I was actually doing the speed limit, I would have actually been in the center of an intersection, a very big intersection, with a road that's also 40 going across it. And the person blew through their stoplight. I was doing like, 30, 32 on a 40 because, well, I was the only person on the road because people are afraid to drive in that sort of stuff, and I understand why. But it was so thick, and I know that Aaron has trouble seeing in the dark. I'm not sure, we're still not sure why. It's just a fact now. So I actually drove 5 blocks from here to his work to go pick him up. I also had the pizza in the car at the time. So he basically got in the car, and I was texting him like, I will be at the bottom of your stairs. I almost got hit once while driving back from Round Table Pizza, and there are other people driving kind of erratically because the fog is so thick. They're overcompensating for anything. So that's all that happy jazz. Gonna probably sign this one off here because the longer they get, the longer they take to upload. And this one, whatever, we'll throw it up for another 30 seconds here. That's my weekend update. Actually, there's more stuff that happened this weekend, but I can save that for tomorrow and actually have a decently long one. Anyways, so I pretty much talked constantly, so you're not gonna have deal with, me yammering and just like, duh. Anyways, I will see you all tomorrow.